What up, man? It's Vash here to do this episode review of SNAFU, episode 3. Man. Every time I watch one of these episodes, man, it gets more and more dramatic. And it seems like the characters start to hate Hachiman more and more. But I actually, grow to like him more and more as a character because, granted, he doesn't handle shit well. Okay, we can all agree on that shit. He doesn't handle shit well. You know what I'm saying? It gets the job done, point one. But point two is not that he isn't subject to change. It was shown in this episode that one, he's struggling with it, and two, that he's even open to it. He just doesn't know how to go about doing it because this is how he's been his whole fucking life. That it's a scene, I think it was about like around the middle part of the episode. It might even been the beginning. Fuck I'm talking about. You guys remember that scene when he goes to the coffee machine? That he goes to the little vending machine and he didn't choose his normal coffee. He was going to, and then he switched over and clicked something else and tasted it and said bitter. Now that is symbolic because this might just be me overthinking shit, but change is a bitter pill to swallow. You know what I'm saying? Because the change that you're accepting or that you're partaking in might not be to your particular taste. See what I'm saying? So he drunk a different brand of coffee. We're talking about something as small as him drinking a different brand of coffee. And it tasted different to him. It wasn't the same as the shit that he was used to. It was a different sort of taste. I had that same thing happen to me. My family moved away. And I moved to Tennessee. That was a bitter pill for me to swallow. Because Tennessee, Chattanooga, was not the exact same as Atlanta. I didn't know anybody in Chattanooga. It was a different fucking, sort of thing for me. And we just talking about me moving locations, right? That was it. The United States, for the most part, is kind of the same everywhere you go. But we just talking about me moving from Atlanta, which is in the south, to Chattanooga, which is in the south, and only an hour away for the most part. About 2 hours away. That's it. I went from Atlanta to Chattanooga. That was it. 100 and something miles north. That's a small change compared to having to change your whole fucking outlook and personality. That's a big change. That would be like right now. Right now, if someone came to me and was just like, hey, Marcus, I know that you were raised Christian, you grew up Christian, you still have a belief in God, but you really not spiritual. Well, right now, what I want you to do is forget everything that you taught and everything that you were taught and everything that you were brought to believe in. Right now, you're Hindu, and just walk the fuck away. I'm like, I don't understand. That's a hard fucking pill for me to swallow. So I'm like, that's not something that's easily accomplished, and that's kind of why I was annoyed with Yukino in this episode, because it's something, because she just kept saying, you're going to intend to change. Well, that's not something that's easy to do. You know what I'm saying? That's really an easier said than done sort of deal. It's not that fucking easy to do. And I don't understand why she didn't understand that shit. That's a fucking difficult thing to do. People don't change over fucking night. That's something that's difficult as shit to do. It's motherfuckers here in Georgia right now in January, in the month of January. It might even been in February during Black History Month. The fucking Ku Klux Klan had a gathering at the fucking Capitol in Atlanta. In 2015, the Ku Klux Klan is still around. Because their mentality is not going to change. The Ku Klux Klan was started in like the 1800s, in the late 1800s. And they still around today. In 2015, with all these interracial couples, they still like fuck it. Because that mentality is not going to change. That's a race issue, it's not going to change. So to ask Hachiman to change his fucking thought process overnight when he's had that same thought process pretty much his whole fucking life. Like, it's not that he just became that morbid in middle school. He might have became more withdrawn from society in middle school because of what happened with that stupid bitch. But he was like that his whole life. You can tell because the kids to make fun of him in elementary school. They're like, hey, gay, you gaying home today? Because his name has the word gay in it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, they fuck with him. And he's been getting fucked with his whole fucking life. So he has a different outlook on life. But this episode pretty much is the war between Yukino and Hachiman, which was weird to see. That was strange. I didn't know how I felt about this shit though, man. Again, like I said, she annoyed me, but I was just like, wow, this is tough for me to watch actually. It's just tough for me to watch because everyone is trying to give him shit right about now, and that's annoying me because it's not that he's not subject to change. Interestingly enough, I had a message sent to me on the last one I did on episode 2. I'm gonna put it somewhere around here or whatever. And this person said there's a theory going around that because he chooses the bad route for the most part all the time, that something's going to end up happening with Yui and Yukino that's going to make Hachiman have to be the bad guy towards both of them, and he could potentially be alone the whole time. Now, that's an interesting theory because he would have to push them away, and you know what I'm saying? Because just associating with him, they might get the bad end of the stick as well. You know what I'm saying? Just because they have associations with him and because of how he's perceived in that school, they also might get the shaft when it comes to social aspects of their lives. I don't think that would bother Yukino too much. Might fuck up Yui. Okay, so he would push them away in order to let them have a better life per se. But the only problem that I'm having with that is that both of them would know what he was doing right away unless he changed his method and was overly nice to push them away. So, but yeah, man, this was just Yukino versus Hachiman. I mean, they got a new job where they're supposed to help this girl. What's his name? Iroha? I think that was her name. Iroha. They're supposed. She was nominated for student council president. They would, like, some people put her name into the drawing or whatever, and now they're gonna make her the student council president. And she doesn't want to be. She doesn't want to be the student council president. She actually wants to lose. But I don't. From what I can gather, I don't know why she just can't quit. That would be kind of weird. I don't understand. But from what I can gather, there's no one else running for this position, so she has to essentially either lose from a no faith, like a no faith sort of thing, or lose to another candidate. Now, Hachiman was just saying, let someone give her a bad speech. You know, let a campaign manager give a shitty speech, and people will lose faith in her. So it's not going to be on her part. It's going to be on the person who gave the speech. Right away, Yui got sad because she's like, and who's going to give that speech? Because he was obviously putting himself in that position to give a speech, so that it would be no harm on her part, but everyone would look at him like a douche, right? Yukino even suggested we fucking mess with the election results. I was just kind of like, how is that even better than what the fuck he just said? And then she was just kind of like, okay, the best thing to do is we can have another candidate run. And again, to his point, if someone wanted to run for that position, they would have already done it. So I'm just kind of like, yeah, that's not better than what he's saying. Like, you guys are suggesting we ask another person to run, you know what I'm saying, who doesn't want to run as of now. You can already tell because they haven't submitted their name on this student council race thing. So Yukino is suggesting that they get another candidate, make that candidate run, support that candidate, and that candidate becomes the new student council president. And to Hachiman's retort to that, he's just kind of like, well, what's going to happen? Because now you've done everything to fund this person's campaign and run this person's campaign, and what's going to happen after they win? Are you going to be there to fucking run the student council with them? Because I'm just like, yeah, this person doesn't want to do this shit. This person might be smart, person might be gifted, but they don't want to do it. So you're going to put someone in this position who doesn't want to do the shit. Because Yukino's beef is that Hachiman does this stuff, gets the results, but he hurts himself in the process. She didn't say that you hurt yourself. She just said, I can't agree with your method, because that's what it's all about. She doesn't like the fact that he puts himself right in the path of getting harmed and getting all fucked up for the sake of other people, right? But you willing to hurt someone totally new. Because in the end of this, the person who's running, who they want to run for student council president, not Iroha, the other person who they're going to try and convince to be a student council president, that person is going to get hurt because they don't want to do it. Even, I can tell where this is kind of going. I'm pretty sure Yukino is going to be the one to do it, because the shit that her sister said when she was talking to Hachiman about, oh, I wasn't the student council president. That's going to be weird. So I'm pretty sure Yukino was going to be the one that runs for student council president. But it's like, bitch, you don't want to. So what you're doing by putting yourself in a direct line of fire is no different than what Hachiman did. It's just that, you know, Hachiman's process is a lot shorter than the shit that you're trying to do. I don't understand. Like right now, I don't understand that little beef. I don't get it. And still, I don't give a fuck about Hayato. He can kiss my ass. Fuck that character. But it's interesting what he said when they was in that donut shop. So pretty much, Hachiman kind of ran into a girl, the girl that he liked in middle school, and she just talking mad shit though, like real shit though. That motherfucker better than me because he forced himself to smile and kind of laugh it off. But I would have ignored her probably. I'm like, oh okay, and I would have just kept talking to her, and she would have kept talking. I'm like, look man, I'm chilling with her. Can you get the fuck on? You know, can you please walk the fuck away? Like, why are you still talking to me? Get the hell on. But it probably wouldn't even work because women are crafty as shit though, and in the end she was like, oh, you still mad about from middle school, I win, whatever. But I like what he said though. The dude Hayato, even though he's a douche fuck, he pretty much just kinda like, oh, Haruno must really like you. And then he was like, yeah, whatever, she just like fucking with me, don't even say that shit. And Hayato just kinda like, no, if she doesn't find you interesting, she wouldn't even fuck with you, she wouldn't even talk to you. You know. She destroys people she hates, and she, you know, attaches herself to the people that she likes. So I'm just kind of like, that's interesting. Because I do have a theory about that shit, though. I think that she does like him. I think that she's trying to push him and her sister together because his ability to just kind of see people for what they are, and, you know, to, because he's just sort of on the outside looking in all the time, he can just kind of see things as they are, and he saw that in her. You know what I'm saying? The fact that Haruno knows the teacher, I'm assuming that only the bad students, the students who have issues, know this teacher because she also does counseling. You see what I'm saying? So I'm assuming that Haruno was a girl who had some emotional issues and the teacher tried to help, but it didn't work because now she has this fake personality, right? So I'm assuming that if Haruno had met a person like Hachiman, she could have been herself because her sister is herself the most around Hachiman because he's able to just see things in the most negative light, and he's able to see things in a way that other people can't see them, so he's not fazed by fakeness. You see what I'm saying? But I do think that Haruno, I think she might have some feelings towards him though because he can see through people's fakeness. You know what I'm saying? He can actually see them for what they are. He's not even, I mean, of course he's swayed by Haruno when she's like all up on him and shit. Who wouldn't be? You know what I'm saying? Like, if some girl just all like close as shit, you just like, what the fuck is going on? But he's not fazed by her shit. He even fucking walks away from this episode. She was like, oh, hey, Hachiman, Hikigaya-kun. And he was just like, And he just fucking walks away. So he's not fazed by that shit, though. He's not fazed by her. But the episode ends on a sad note because Yukino is still sort of talking, and she's kind of like, you know, you're not going to change. And she's still talking about her method to do the thing for a student council. And he just fucking leaves. Hachiman just gets up and he just fucking walks away. And you can tell Yui wants to say something because she is kind of the voice of reasoning for those two, because Hachiman is sort of like morbidly, you know what I'm saying, down all the time. He just have a very nihilistic outlook on life. And Yukino, she's not as bad as him, but she can only kind of see the faults in most stuff, but tries to put it into a positive spin. Yui is positive all the time, so she's kind of the glue that holds that group together. So she was trying to actually, you can tell she wanted to say something, but she didn't. And at the very end of the episode, we see that girl Iroha, she comes down the steps to Hachiman, and she's kind of like, hey, this isn't really gonna work unless you guys are doing this shit together for the most part, and I really need you guys' help. I'm counting on you. And he says, if something comes up, I'll think of something. You know what I'm saying? If it comes to that, I'll think of something. So again, he is very susceptible to change. He's trying to think of other ways that he can do this shit other than his usual method. That's why it's pissing me off that everyone's jumping down this man's throat like that. But let me know what you guys think about this shit though, man. This is kind of a long video. I actually kind of went off quite a long time. But let me know what you guys think about this shit, man. Vash Stampede. I don't think that shit high enough. That shit looks low as shit. Hold on. Really, nigga?